Los Angeles, September 1972. The Warner Brothers lot in Burbank moves the way it always does on a Tuesday afternoon, which means everything is happening at once and nothing is quiet. Golf carts slide between sound stages. Crew members walk fast, with that focused pace of people late for something that was already running behind. Generators hum steadily. Someone keeps repeating a number over a walkie-talkie that nobody answers. The air carries a smell unique to the lot in September. Dry California heat mixed with fresh lumber, industrial paint, and the electric scent of machines running since before sunrise and destined to run until after dark, because time here equals money. This is Hollywood. It never pauses, it never slows down. It absorbs whatever happens inside it and keeps moving. Calm as weather, steady as rent. The lot has been here long enough to pull people from every corner of the world with promises of opportunity. Not always the exact dream they arrive chasing, but something close enough to keep them walking its streets in the afternoon light, rarely realizing they are inside a system that treats everyone the same, no matter how talented. Stage 14 is a medium interior stage dressed this week as a martial arts school. Wooden floors delivered from a prop warehouse. Training gear arranged carefully along the walls by people who know cameras notice everything. Hanging bags, wooden dummies, the clean organization of a real practice space rather than decoration. The afternoon shoot ended 20 minutes earlier. Crew members are already breaking down equipment with the smooth rhythm of people who have done it thousands of times. Their hands work automatically while their minds drift toward evening traffic, dinner at home, and whether the parking validation expires at 7 or 8. The stage now carries the feeling of a place that was alive all day and is slowly emptying. The energy of production fades little by little, like warmth leaving a room when the sun moves away from the window, leaving something calmer behind. Robert Clouse sits in his director's chair near the playback monitor. A small leather notebook rests on his knee, neat handwriting filling its pages with organized notes. He reviews the afternoon footage with the focus of someone who never considers a day finished until every detail has been examined. Clouse has directed films since before many of his crew were old enough to drive. Experience shows in the quiet way he works, not heavy and not dramatic, simply the steady presence of someone who has seen enough to know what matters. He studies the monitor carefully. The results please him, though he does not show it. Film. Sets reward patience, and he learned long ago that celebrating too early usually invites trouble. He is writing a note about the third setup when the stage door opens and Bruce Lee walks in. There is no announcement. No dramatic entrance. Just a man stepping through a familiar door into a familiar room. He moves with that calm efficiency. Everyone notices after spending time around him. Nothing wasted, every motion simple and direct. He is still wearing his black training clothes from the morning session at his school across the city. He sees Clouse and walks toward him without hesitation. Clouse looks up and his serious expression softens slightly. They have worked together for months now, slowly building something neither fully understands yet, but both believe in strongly. In a city known for complicated relationships, theirs has become refreshingly straightforward. Bruce unfolds a chair beside the monitor in one smooth movement and sits. Clouse signals his assistant to give them space. Around them, the stage continues to quiet down. Their conversation begins easily, the way it does between two people who respect each other. Clouse asks about Bruce's shoulder. Bruce says it is better, which really means manageable. Bruce asks about the new script pages from last week. Clouse explains his ideas while Bruce listens closely, giving the kind of attention that feels intense at first until you realize it simply means he is truly listening. They talk about the schedule. They talk about the San Francisco location. They talk about casting, which is usually the conversation that reveals what a project really is beneath what people say it is. The stage slowly empties around them. The light through the stage door grows narrower as the afternoon moves forward. Two professionals finishing a productive day, comfortable in the quiet way people become comfortable after earning each. Others respect through steady work done honestly over time. That is when the stage door opens again and Kurt Russell walks. And he is 21 years old? And he fills a room the way 21-year-olds fill rooms when they are tall, broad, and already used to cameras pointing in their direction. Jeans, a half-open collared shirt. The relaxed confidence of someone whose life has so far confirmed that being Kurt Russell is a pretty good situation to be in. He has been acting since childhood. He is talented and he knows it, and he carries that knowledge with the easy lightness of someone who has not yet faced the kind of challenge that eventually tests everyone. Not criticism. Just a simple fact that only becomes clear later in life. He is here to see Clouse. They worked together on a production 2 years earlier, enough history for an informal visit. Russell has been on the lot today for a meeting on another stage and decided to stop by on his way out. The kind of impulse visit that happens easily. When you expect a friendly welcome because you have always received one, he spots Clouse and raises a hand while walking toward him with the comfortable direction of someone who knows exactly where he is going. He notices the man sitting beside Clouse the way people notice furniture in the corner of a room, briefly, without real attention. A lean Chinese man wearing black training clothes, sitting very still. Russell's eyes move past him without stopping. They shake hands, the quick shorthand of people who know each other well enough to skip the formal greeting. A few jokes, references, the compressed language of shared experience. Russell is genuinely funny, enjoying the moment rather than performing it. Clouse responds easily because authenticity on a film set is rare enough that you appreciate it. When it appears, they talk about the meeting Russell just left. It produced no final answer but left everyone with the pleasant feeling that something might happen while committing to nothing, which is the usual result of meetings in this city. Russell describes it with the precise humor of someone who finds the process amusing instead of frustrating, which is a choice that usually comes from confidence. Then he glances again at the man in the folding chair. The second look you give something you dismiss too quickly. He sees the same details as before. Lean Chinese, black training clothes. Sitting quietly, not speaking, not trying to attract attention. Just present in a way that feels different from most people. The difference between a room being occupied and a room truly being inhabited. Who's this? He says casually, nodding toward Bruce, one of your guys. The stage itself does not react, but two crew members working near the lighting rig exchange a quick glance. The quiet communication of people who already understand something the person speaking does not yet realize. They wait to see what happens next. Clouse's expression shifts slightly. The subtle change of someone hearing something that needs correction and deciding how to handle it. Bruce speaks first. I'm Robert's guest. The voice calm and steady, the same tone he uses for everything. He looks directly at Russell with the focused attention of someone reading the situation clearly and feeling no need to rush the moment. Bruce Lee. Russell processes the name. He has heard it before, the Green Hornet. The clips that circulate through the industry of a man moving so quickly that cameras struggle to capture it. The certain tone of respect that appears in specific conversations when the name comes up. He has heard it, but now the name belongs to a lean man sitting in a folding chair who does not match the image Russell's mind had built. His 21-year-old instincts begin doing the automatic calculation. Size, weight, what those numbers usually mean. The calculation keeps returning the same result, 5'7". About 140 pounds. He cannot quite make those numbers match what Clouse is about to say. You're smaller than I expected. Russell says. 3 crew members within earshot pause their work. Not dramatically. Just the subtle stillness of people who heard something interesting and are curious about what happens next. Clouse gently sets his notebook on the monitor cart. Bruce, he says evenly, is one of the most dangerous human beings on this planet. No performance. Just simple information delivered plainly. Russell looks at Clouse. Then at Bruce, then back at Clouse again. He runs the calculation once more, hoping the answer changes. 140 pounds, folding chair, one of the most dangerous human beings on the planet. The numbers still refuse to line up. His 21 years of experience simply do not contain the framework needed to make them fit, and the room is watching. The smile begins to form, the same confident smile that has opened many doors for him so far and has never failed him yet. Now come on. he says, the smile relaxed and bright. He looks at Bruce with the playful challenge of someone who has already decided the direction the conversation should take. One of the most dangerous people on the planet? He shakes his head slightly. I mean, no disrespect, but you'd probably have to show me something like that. He rolls his right shoulder forward. The small gesture of a young man offering himself as a target, completely certain the offer will never be accepted, chin slightly raised, body open. The confident posture of someone performing toughness because they have not yet discovered the difference between displaying confidence and truly possessing it. The difference between a picture of a flame and real fire. His fingers tap his own shoulder twice, casual and light. The relaxed signal of someone pointing to a spot they are certain will remain untouched. Hit me right here. Full power. Let's see what you've got. The stage becomes quiet, not almost quiet. Completely quiet, the crew member pushing a cart. 2 meters away stops moving it. The grips near the lighting rig turn around fully. Clouse lifts his notebook from the monitor cart and holds it closed in both hands, perfectly still. The stillness of someone who wants to observe what is about to happen without interfering with it. The assistant holding a clipboard takes one small step backward without realizing it. 7 people on the stage now face the same direction. Toward the folding chair? Toward the tall young man standing with his shoulder forward, chin lifted, smile bright, and 21 years of confident certainty arranged neatly into the posture of someone who believes he has just won the room by making an offer he is sure cannot be accepted. Nobody speaks. Nobody moves. The faint hum of the overhead lights suddenly becomes the loudest sound in the room. Outside the stage walls, the Warner Brothers lot continues its ordinary Tuesday activity. Inside, for this single suspended moment, the world has narrowed to the space between one shoulder and one hand. Bruce Lee stands up from the folding chair, not the way people stand when preparing for a demonstration. Simply the way he stands from any chair, the same quiet efficiency. No shift in expression. No extra movement. No visible preparation for Bruce Lee. There is no separation between prepared and unprepared because there is no gap between what he is and what he does. He is standing now. He looks at Russell's shoulder. In the same calm voice he has used since Russell entered the room, he asks, "Are you sure?" Russell laughs, the laugh of someone hearing a question that confirms everything he already believed. The laugh of someone who mistakes caution for weakness because he has not yet learned that the two are unrelated. Yeah. He says, "Go ahead." Full power. Bruce nods slightly. All right. What happens next takes less time than explaining it. Bruce Lee's right hand leaves his side. It moves toward Kurt Russell's shoulder in a motion that is neither rushed nor slow, simply precise. Everything unnecessary removed, leaving only the movement itself. Clean and complete. The contact arrives with the full coordination of 20 years of disciplined training. Hips turning, shoulder aligning, elbow extending, wrist snapping. Each part of the body contributing its share to a single motion delivered in a fraction of a second, so brief that the watching crew will later disagree about whether they saw it, or only saw the result. Like lightning, you are not sure. You witnessed until the thunder follows. One crew member near the back of the stage, a grip who has worked on countless productions, will later say he never saw the strike. He only saw Russell's shoulder shift and then saw Russell against the wall. Nothing in between. Just before and after, the middle erased by movement too quick for the eye. Kurt Russell moves, not a stumble, not a flinch, moves the way objects move when force reaches them. The body responding to physics before the mind has time to react. He shifts sideways and backward at the same time. The force travels through his frame, reaching his legs, which respond automatically by stepping once. Then again. Then the wall is there. His back meets it, and the motion stops. He remains standing, his legs steady. But his right shoulder carries something his left shoulder does not weight exactly. Something else. His expression begins changing, the quiet look of someone revising a belief that felt absolutely certain 30 seconds earlier. The honest expression of a person realizing a certainty has just been removed in the simplest possible way. The stage holds 4 full seconds of silence. 4 real seconds, where the only sound is the overhead lights and the distant activity of the lot outside. Clouse breaks it first with a quiet breath through his nose, short, controlled, the sound of someone who expected exactly this result and has just watched it arrive precisely on schedule. He has known Bruce Lee long enough that surprise is no longer the reaction. Satisfaction is. The corners of his mouth struggle briefly against the professional composure of a director who prefers to remain serious on his own stage. He does not entirely succeed. And he does not mind. Russell looks at his shoulder, then at Bruce, then back at his shoulder. Again, his mouth remains slightly open. The confident smile that had been there since he entered the stage has disappeared completely. As cleanly as a light switching off. In its place is something quieter, something more useful. The expression of someone realizing they were mistaken about something important and accepting that realization without resistance. That moment may be the most valuable thing Kurt Russell experiences on the Warner Brothers lot that day, more important than the meeting he attended earlier. More important than whatever he does afterward, because this kind of lesson stays with you, the kind that settles into the body rather than the mind, and remains there long after the moment itself has passed. Bruce Lee is still standing exactly where he stood when the motion began, right hand resting calmly at his side again, his expression unchanged since Russell first walked in, the same quiet focus, the same calm presence. No performance required, because for Bruce Lee the result of this moment was never uncertain. And moments without uncertainty never need extra display. He looks toward Russell by the wall and says in the same steady voice he has used the entire time, "Next time you walk into a room and want to know who someone is, ask before you speak." A brief pause, the pause of someone choosing the final words carefully. It costs less. Russell pushes himself away from the wall. He straightens his collar. He adjusts his collar and shifts his stance, making the small physical corrections that create the appearance of calm while his mind catches up with what his body already understands. The body always knows first. The mind arrives afterward with explanations. He looks at Bruce with the thoughtful expression of someone who has just paid for a lesson and is quietly deciding whether the price was fair. A moment later the answer becomes clear. It was fair. In fact, remarkably fair for what he received. The kind of lesson that might have cost much more in other places and from other teachers, some of whom might have delivered it with far less restraint than Bruce Lee just showed. But restraint itself is part of the lesson, something Russell will understand more clearly later when he has had time to think about it properly. "Okay," he says. One simple word. The word of someone who has adjusted an opinion, accepted the change, and knows that saying more right now would not improve the moment. Sometimes the absence of extra words is the correct response. Bruce Lee nods. He sits back down in the folding chair with the same effortless economy he used when standing. Then he turns back toward Clouse and resumes their conversation about San Francisco exactly where it had paused. For Bruce, nothing was truly interrupted. The strike was simply something that needed to happen, and now it has happened. The conversation about San Francisco existed before it and continues after it. The line between the two moments remains perfectly clear and unbroken. That is how his attention works. Moving from one necessary action to the next without carrying anything unnecessary between them, Clouse opens his notebook again. The smile he has been quietly holding back since the moment of impact finally wins the argument and turns into a brief grin. He allows it for 3 full seconds before his director's composure returns. Then he calmly answers the question about the third location. Returning to the business of the day, which for him is always the same business, using the time and resources available to create something worthwhile. Russell says goodbye. Clouse returns it warmly. The tone of someone who genuinely likes him, combined with the quiet satisfaction of someone who just witnessed something memorable and is politely choosing not to enjoy it too openly. Russell glances once more toward Bruce. Bruce looks back with the same expression he has carried since Russell first walked through the door. Calm, direct, nothing extra. The face of someone who has nothing to prove. Someone who proved everything years earlier in training halls and dojo floors, through daily discipline and focused practice. A folding chair, a stage door, and a young man's challenge were never required for confirmation. Russell nods. Bruce nods back, the nod of two people who have reached an understanding in the most direct way possible and have no further business with each other today. The stage door closes. Outside, the Warner Brothers lot continues its ordinary Tuesday rhythm. Golf carts moving between buildings, voices on walkie-talkies, the dry September air and warm California sunlight resting over equipment, sound stages, and the constant movement of people crossing from one task to another. Kurt Russell walks toward the parking structure with his hands in his pockets and a quiet awareness settling in his right shoulder that his left shoulder does not share. He is 21 years old. He will have a long career ahead of him. Over the years, he will walk into many rooms filled with people he has not yet met. And in each of those rooms, before speaking too quickly about anyone inside them, he will pause for one extra moment to ask a simple question. He did not ask today. The question that costs nothing and returns everything. He learned it on stage 14. On a Tuesday afternoon in September 1972, from a man in a folding chair wearing black training clothes who delivered one precise strike, spoke two sentences, and then returned to discussing a location in San Francisco as if nothing unusual had happened. Because to that man, nothing unusual had happened. For him, the strike was simply what the moment required. And the conversation about San Francisco was what the next moment required. The connection between those moments remained seamless because his focus remained seamless, moving from what was needed to what was needed, carrying nothing unnecessary between them. The lot is loud. The sunlight is golden. Stage 14 is already preparing for tomorrow. Equipment is being moved. The floor is being cleared. The space is quietly reshaping itself into whatever it must become next, indifferent to what happened there earlier, just as spaces always are. They hold events for a short time and then release them completely, keeping nothing and remembering nothing. Just as the afternoon releases itself as it turns into evening, the gold light deepens. Shadows stretch across the lot. The temperature drops by a couple of degrees, the gentle shift typical of September evenings in Los Angeles, enough to notice, not enough to require a jacket, and somewhere inside stage 14, a man in black training clothes sits beside a monitor discussing a San Francisco location with a director who is still trying not to smile. The day ends the way all days end, quietly becoming the next one, carrying forward what it carries and leaving behind what it leaves, unconcerned with the difference. As days always are and always will be.